Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online, where we dive deep into the fascinating world around us. Today we're talking about a group of animals that have been around for over 370 million years, long before the dinosaurs. I'm talking about amphibians, the incredible class of creatures that includes frogs, salamanders, and the lesser-known caecilians. But this isn't just a story about their ancient past. It's an urgent story about their precarious future. Because right now, amphibians are the most threatened group of vertebrates on the entire planet, with a shocking 41% of species facing extinction. They are our planet's canaries in the coal mine, and the warning they're sending is getting louder every day. So what's pushing these ancient survivors to the brink? The answer, in large part, is climate change and the extreme weather it unleashes. Let's unpack this. The very things that make amphibians so unique also make them uniquely vulnerable. First, there's their skin. It's permeable, meaning it's not just a protective layer. They actually use it to breathe and absorb water. This is a brilliant evolutionary strategy, but it offers almost no defense against fluctuating temperatures and humidity. During a heat wave, they can dehydrate and die with alarming speed. Second, they are ectotherms. You might know this as being, quote, cold-blooded. It means their body temperature is controlled by the environment around them. So even small shifts in air or water temperature have a direct and immediate impact on their metabolism, their energy levels, and their survival. And finally, their entire life cycle is chained to water. Most amphibians lay soft, unshelled eggs in ponds or streams, which can dry out in an instant. Their larvae, like tadpoles, need that water to survive until they can metamorphose. When you combine this sensitive biology with a limited ability to pack up and move to a new, better home, you have a recipe for disaster in a rapidly changing world. Now let's look at the direct assault. Climate change isn't some vague, future threat. Its effects are happening now, in the form of extreme weather. Take heat waves and droughts. These are becoming more common and more intense. For amphibians, this is a nightmare. Breeding ponds, which are often temporary, can evaporate before tadpoles have a chance to grow legs and get out. It's a literal race against time that many of them lose, resulting in mass die-offs. Even if they do make it, the stress can cause them to metamorphose at a smaller size, making them more likely to dry out as adults and less likely to reproduce successfully. And it's not just a lack of water that's a problem. Too much water can be just as deadly. Powerful floods and hurricanes can physically destroy habitats, eroding stream banks and washing away eggs and larvae. Then you have the wild temperature swings. A warm spell in winter might trick a frog into coming out of hibernation too early, burning through its precious energy reserves. If a sudden cold snap follows, which is also becoming more common, it can be lethal. These temperature fluctuations also mess with their immune systems, leaving them wide open to other threats. And this brings us to the cascade of indirect problems. The biggest of these is disease. You may have heard of the chytrid fungus, or BD. Scientists have called its effect on amphibians, and a quote, "It's a devastating pathogen that has contributed to the decline of over 500 species." Research now suggests that changing climate conditions are creating the perfect environment for this fungus to thrive and spread. At the same time, the stress from extreme weather weakens the amphibians' immune systems, making them less able to fight off infections like chytridiomycosis. Climate change is also fundamentally reshaping their homes. Habitats are shifting. In mountainous areas, some species are trying to escape the heat by moving to higher altitudes, but they are literally running out of mountain. A startling trend has also been observed in some populations. They are shrinking. Over recent decades, the average body size of some amphibians has decreased. This is linked to rising temperatures, which can make it harder for them to find food and grow. A smaller body means it's easier to dehydrate, and, for females, it often means laying fewer eggs, further jeopardizing the next generation. This is a global crisis, but there are hotspots. A 40-year study highlighted Europe, the Amazon, and Madagascar as places where amphibians are being hit particularly hard. In the Amazon, it's the heat waves. In Europe, it's the droughts. And in places like Costa Rica, the 1-2 punch of habitat loss and climate change is creating a perilous situation for the region's incredible amphibian diversity. The evidence is overwhelming. Extreme weather is pushing these already vulnerable creatures over the edge. So what can be done? The path forward requires a massive, combined effort. On a large scale, protecting and restoring forests and wetlands is absolutely critical. These ecosystems don't just provide a home for amphibians, they are also vital tools in our fight against climate change itself. On a smaller scale, targeted conservation efforts can create micro-refuges and restore degraded ponds and streams, offering a lifeline to the most threatened species. Ultimately, the fate of the frog, the salamander, and the caecilian is tied to our own. They are sending a clear and desperate signal. The question is, are we listening? Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online. Join us next time as we explore another incredible story from our natural world.